The amber descent of a Sunday sevening. A clock spills across the waxen floors of the nave, like honeyed oil from a broken jar of alabaster. Here the daylight surrenders its final breath to the creeping violet of the vesper hour, a liturgical twilight, where the architecture of grief meets the geometry of hope. The grand piano stands as a dark leviathan in the transept, its lid propped open, like a wing prepared for a flight that never leaves the earth, but vibrates deep within its iron marrow. Each ivory key is a white tombstone waiting for the touch of a finger to resurrect a memory, a monochromatic between the silence of the cemetery and the resonance of the sanctuary. We gather not to bury the light, but to harvest the shadows left behind by those who have stepped through the thin veil of the tabernacle into the uncreated noon of the Creator. The first movement of our solace is a whisper of felt against string, a soft percussion that mimics the heartbeat of a mother now stilled beneath the parish sod. It is a Christian cartography of the soul, mapping the distance between the last rattling breath and the first Alleluia of the kingdom. The choir inhales the scent of extinguished beeswax and damp stone, their throats forming a collective chalice to hold the vintage of our sorrow. They sing not of the end, but of the transition, a melodic theology where the minor key of the funeral mass dissolves into the major resolution of the resurrection. Each voice is a thread of silver pulled through the needle of the present moment, stitching the names of the departed into the tapestry of the communion of saints. 8 times the melody shifts its weight from the shoulder of mourning to the hip of grace. 8 stations of a musical cross where we find the strength to remain standing. When the earth has claimed its portion, the second psalm arrives with the gravity of Gregorian stone, yet lightened by the piano's cascading arpeggios that fall like rain upon a parched garden. It is the Catholic heart beating in time with the Latin rhythms of the Requiem Aeternam, a plea for perpetual light that ignores the clock on the vestry wall. 7 o'clock is merely a threshold, a chronological gate where the secular week expires and the eternal Sabbath begins its reign in the low register of the bass singers. We navigate the 3rd and 4th echoes with the precision of a rosary being told in the dark, each note a bead, each pause a prayer for the repose of those who taught us how to sign the cross. The piano does not merely play, it interrogates the silence, asking why the lilies must wither while the stone remains. The choir answers in a polyphonic wave, a sea of human breath that washes over the pews, carrying the scent of incense and the salt of tears. There is no haste in the Sunday evening, only the deliberate unfolding of a grief that has been sanctified by the promise of the empty tomb. We see the faces of the gone in the flickering votives, their features traced in the vibrations of the cello-like hum of the baritones. By the 5th and 6th hymns, the solace has become a tangible garment, a shroud woven of harmony that warms the shivering spirit. The piano's high treble begins a distant cathedral calling the lost home through the fog of their own bereavement. This is the memorial of the mundane made magnificent, the sanctification of ordinary lives that were lived in the quiet corners of the pews. We sing for the bakers and the teachers, the silent fathers and the praying grandmothers. Their legacies now vibrating in the vocal cords of their children. The music is a ladder of Jacob, reaching from the dust of the funeral parlor to the gold of the celestial city. And we climb it with every soaring soprano line. The seventh song is a stillness that speaks louder than the fortissimo of the world. A piano Sunday meditation where the hammers barely kiss the wire. It is the sound of a soul settling into the arms of the Good Shepherd. A Catholic lullaby for those who have finished the race and kept the faith. The choir's volume tapers to a holy murmur, the sound of wind through the cypress trees of a Mediterranean graveyard. Here, the sorrow is no longer a jagged flint, but a polished river stone, smooth to the touch and heavy with the weight of a life well loved. We are the stewards of this resonance, the keepers of the flame that refuses to be quenched by the coming night. The eighth and final resolution is a monumental architecture of sound, a cathedral of voices built upon the firm foundation of the piano's deep pedal tones. It is 7:30 now, and the darkness outside is absolute. Yet within these walls, the music has ignited a fire that the night cannot comprehend. We grab expands to the limits of the vaulted ceiling, an explosion of Christian certainty that mocks the finality of the grave. We stand in the debris of our own mortality and sing a defiance of the shroud, a beautiful and terrible joy. The seventh song is a stillness that speaks louder than the fortissimo.
The verdict hangs in the heavy air of the praetorium, like a shroud before the burial has even begun. There is a terrible stillness in the iron of the Roman decree, a cold finality that contrasts with the fevered pulse of the gathering crowd. You stand in the center of the judgment hall, the king of infinite space, bound by cords of hemp and the arrogance of men. The journey does not begin with a leap, but with a single excruciating acceptance of the wood. It is a rough-hewn timber, a cedar of Lebanon turned into an instrument of gravity, resting its jagged weight upon a shoulder already mapped with the crimson furrows of the scourge. This is the cadence of our redemption, the rhythmic thud of sandals against the parched limestone of Jerusalem, the first slow movement of a liturgy written in salt and breath. We walk beside you now, not as distant observers of an ancient tragedy, but as pilgrims tracing the geography of our own failures upon your skin. The path is narrow, and the stones are unkind, sharp edges that catch the hem of your tunic as the first fall occurs. There is no majesty in the dust, only the brutal reality of gravity meeting the exhaustion of the divine. Your palms press into the grit of the earth, the same soil you once breathed life into, now rising to coat your lips in a dry, suffocating veil. It is the weight of every hidden shame, every silent betrayal, pressing your forehead toward the cobbles. Yet, the movement does not cease. The prayer is in the rising, the slow and trembling leverage of bone against the insistence of the ground. In the midst of the clamor, a momentary silence blooms as a mother's eyes find yours. It is a silent dialogue of shared swords, a piercing recognition that goes beyond the capacity of words to hold. Her grief is a mirror, reflecting the blue of a Galilean sky now darkening under the shadow of the gallows. And then comes the stranger, Simon of the scorched hills, his hands calloused from the plow and the vine, forced into a fellowship of timber. He did not ask for this grace, this proximity to the sweat of God, yet as he leans his strength into the cross, he discovers that the wood is lighter when shared with the one who upholds the stars. It is the mystery of Lent, the realization that our burdens are never carried in solitude, but are woven into the very fabric of your ascent. A woman steps forward with a cloth of linen, defying the wall of spears to offer a mercy of silk and water. In that brief contact, the sweat and blood of the world are wiped away, leaving an imprint of the holy face upon the fabric of our compassion. It is a testament that even in the most desolate hour, the image of God remains indelible, waiting to be revealed by a gesture of simple kindness. But the hill of the skull looms closer now, and the falls become more frequent, more devastating. Each collapse is a deeper immersion into the frailty of the flesh, a profound descent into the dark valley where humanity loses its way. You are teaching us how to die to ourselves, how to let the ego crumble into the dust, so that the spirit might find its wings in the very shadow of the cross. The daughters of Jerusalem weep with a sound like the desert wind, their laments rising in a fragmented hope. You turn to them, not with the bitterness of a victim, but with the clarity of a prophet, bidding them weep for the future, for the children who will inherit a world of thorns. The ascent's nearly complete, and at the summit of the barren mount, the final stripping begins. They take the garments woven without seam, leaving you exposed to the biting air and the mockery of the onlookers. It is the ultimate poverty, the stripping away of every dignity, until only the raw truth of love remains. The iron meets the wrist, the hammer finds its rhythm, and the sound echoes through the corridors of time, a rhythmic tolling that marks the end of the old covenant and the agonizing birth of the new. 3 hours of obsidian darkness swallow the sun, a cosmic mourning for the light of the world. The air grows thin, the lungs labor for a single word of forgiveness, and the thirst of the Creator is quenched with the vinegar of our rebellion. It is finished. The tension of the universe snaps as the last breath is surrendered to the Father, and the earth itself trembles in the convulsion of grief and recognition. The veil is torn from top to bottom, exposing the heart of the mystery now. The descent from the wood is a quiet affair, a slow lowering into the arms of the grieving mother. The paita of the twilight, the body cold and silent, is carried to the garden, to a tomb carved from the silence of the rock. The stone is rolled into place, a heavy seal
upon the hope of the world, leaving us in the stillness of the Saturday, waiting in the powerful Lenten hush for the first tremor of the dawn.
The amber taper bleeds against the unpolished stone, while the violet veil of the season drapes heavily over the transept. It is 7 of the clock, that fragile hinge where the rest of the Sabbath begins to fray into the anticipation of the world's labor. And we are gathered in the hollow of the nave to weave a cord of sound that might tether the divine to this fleeting floor. The air carries the scent of extinguished wax and the damp breath of the late winter rain, a Lenten chill that settles in the marrow of the wooden pews. We do not sing to the rafters, but to the dust, for it is from the dust that our voices rise in this recursive, circular pleading, an ostinato of the soul that refuses to let the hem of the garment slip through our collective fingers. Stay with me, for the shadows have grown long, and the wolves of the interior desert are beginning to howl at the gates of the mind. Remain here where the light is small but communal, where the flickering wick is the only cartography we possess in the thickening dark. We are a choir of shadows, our faces blurred by the penumbra of the sanctuary, our identities dissolved into the singular pulsing ache of the chant. There is no vanity in the throat, only the friction of the breath against the silence, a rhythmic tide that ebbs and flows around the central pillar of your presence. We repeat the petition, not because you are deaf, but because we are slow to believe, needing the 100th iteration to finally convince the heart that the vacancy beside us is actually full. The Lenten path is narrow and paved with the grit of our own undone resolutions. Yet in the 7 o'clock hour, the urgency of the dusk makes the prayer a necessity, as vital as the drawing of oxygen. Do not depart when the final candle is snuffed by the sacristan's bell. Do not vanish when the heavy iron doors groan shut against the night. We occupy the Gethsemane of the Sunday evening, asking for the one thing the apostles could not provide, a wakefulness that survives the weight of the eyelids, a vigilance that outlasts the dying embers of the day. The harmony is a fragile architecture, a cathedral built of vibrating air and shared longing, where the alto's descent meets the tenor's climb in a mid-air embrace of sorrow and hope. We are singing the anatomy of the vigil, the anatomy of the way. Each syllable of remain is a brick laid against the encroaching cold of the coming week's indifference. The music does not march, it spirals deeper and deeper into the center of the stillness, until the distinction between the singer and the song is bleached away by the intensity of the focus. It is the Sunday of the parched throat, the Sunday of the ash-marked brow, and we are holding on to the vibration of the word me, as if it were the last handhold on a cliffside. Stay with me in the interruption of the silence, in the spaces between the pulses, in the terrifying quiet that follows the resolution of the minor key. Listen to the floorboards creaking under the weight of our bowed heads, a percussion of humility that underscores the vocal line
quiet persistence of a shadow that stays when the sun has surrendered. The lyrics are a map of a territory we have walked for 40 days, a geography of hunger and the slow, agonizing ripening of the spirit. As the clock ticks toward the end of the hour, the chant grows denser, a thicket of sound where the heart can hide from the hounds of worry. We are the Sunday night watchmen, keeping the flame of the stay alive against the gale of the go. Remain here in the resonance of the vaulted ceiling, in the cold texture of the hymnal, in the warmth of the neighbor's shoulder, whose breath joins ours in a desperate, beautiful unison. When the music eventually fades into the black velvet of the night, let the echo be the substance we carry into the dawn, a phantom presence that refuses to leave the room of our chest, a permanent with me that survives the silence of the stone.
The digital flicker fades as the heavy bronze of mediolanum swings upon the hinges of the soul, and the static of the modern street is drowned by the rhythmic pulse of a heart tuned to the ancient meters of the morning. Here in the brief space between the scrolling thumb and the eternal eye, we encounter the governor who became the shepherd, not by the will of the flesh, but by the sudden cry of a child echoing through the basilica like a divine decree. You seek power in the thunder of the forum, but find it instead in the stillness of a man who stood before the purple of the empire and forbade the threshold to a bloodied Caesar, until the crown bowed lower than the cross. This is the wisdom that does not trickle from the parched lips of the sophist, but flows like the golden abundance of a celestial hive, where the bees of the spirit deposited their nectar upon the infant mouth of a sleeping saint. We walk through the architecture of his sentences, where every stone is a syllogism, and every window is a hymn designed to catch the first light of the eternarium. Conditor before the world wakes to its toil. There is a way to this tribute that defies the lightness of the screen, as we navigate the corridors of his rhetoric, where the lore of the land was transmuted into the liturgy of the Lamb. He did not merely speak of the light, he fashioned the very lamps that hold it through the antiphonal chanting of 1,000 voices rising in a single tide, to wash away the dry dust of Aryan shadows. Witness the power that commanded the earth to yield the hidden bones of martyrs, so that the foundations of our faith might be bolstered by the crimson testimony of the soil itself. His wisdom was a sharp blade wrapped in silk, a gentle hand that guided the restless mind of the African rhetorician, from the labyrinth of the Manichees to the clarity of the Milanese font, where the waters of rebirth still the storms of a wandering heart. We are the heirs to that quiet intensity, the beneficiaries of a man who understood that the true defense of the city lies not
in its walls, but in the sanctity of its hymns and the unyielding posture of its bishop. In this fleeting moment of devotion, the YouTube horizon collapses, and the hashtags of the world are silenced by the gravity of the mitre and the staff. We explore not a map of dead geography, but a topography of the inner life, where the honeycomb of the word is tasted in the silence of the cell. Ambrose speaks across the chasm of the centuries, telling us that the emperor's within the church, not above it, and that the power of the believer is found in the bended knee rather than the clenched fist. His legacy is the fragrance of the sanctuary and the structure of the prayer that holds the dawn in its hands, preventing the darkness from reclaiming the world. We pause in this digital atrium to feel the vibration of the Ambrosian chants moving through the marrow of our bones, a brief but monumental encounter with the architect of the Western spirit, who knew that to lead men, one must first be led by the word. The tribute is short, but the resonance is infinite, as we breathe in the incense of his courage and the honey of his grace. It is a call to the deep, to the hidden places, where the wisdom of the ages waits, to be rediscovered by those who tire of the shallow currents of the day. As the video concludes and the pixels rearrange themselves into the next distraction, the image of the bishop remains etched upon the retina of the spirit, a sentinel of the sacred, a master of the melody, and a father to all who seek the power that is perfected in humility. May the nectar of his eloquence soften the hardness of our speech, and may the iron of his resolve fortify the weakness of our will, as we step back into the world, carrying the quiet fire of Milan within the sanctuary of our own private silence. The bells have ceased their bronze complaint, and now the sanctuary holds the amber weight of 7 o'clock. We stand as a small assembly of the twilight, our breath catching on the syllables of ancient promise, as the day folds its weary wings. The air is thick with the scent of melted wax and the cool breath of stone, a Catholic silence that prepares the way for the shepherd's entry. He does not come as a tyrant of the storm, but as the quiet governance of the soul, a king whose scepter is a staff of gnarled olive wood. In this hour, the frantic pulse of the world slows to the rhythm of the cantor's lead, and we recognize that to be ruled by him is to finally be free from the anarchy of our own desires. His sovereignty is the gravity that keeps our wandering hearts from drifting